Hey everybody, Nate here, going to be taking a look at something that is very prevalent in the 40k universe, and that is scroll work. It's really easy just to slap down a layer of like bone color and do some quick lettering on it, but we can do better. So today we're going to start with Skeleton Horde, and then we're going to move on to Morghast Bone, and then highlights of Ushabti Bone and Wraith Bone. The Wraith Bone, you may decide that's optional, and that's totally okay, but I think it adds a nice little extra touch. So, I'm just going to go over the scroll work here. And you can also do this in a slightly different order. Normally, actually, I would be starting with the Morghast Bone, but I'm trying it in a little bit of a different way this time. Don't worry if this middle area here isn't very well coated. It doesn't really need to be. Really, what we want here is the Skeleton Horde in the little tears in the scroll here and here, and where the scroll folds here and along there. Okay, now that that's dry, we're going to move on to our layer of Morghast Bone. And we don't want to get in the tears here, and we don't want to undo what we just did here. So we're going to leave a little bit of room between the main part of the scroll work here and the, I don't know what you'd call that, the hanging off section. There's probably a technical term for it, but I don't know what it is off the top of my head. So don't worry if you have a little bit of the skeleton horde showing through. That's totally okay. It's going to receive more layers, and that will take care of it. We just want the main areas covered here. That went over a little bit. That's okay. The main color behind this is Corvus Black. So even though I went outside the lines a little bit, it's easy to fix. Okay, and then just got to get that teeny tiny little triangle there. There we go. And same thing on the other side. Beautiful. All right, we'll let that dry and move on to our Ushabti Bone. Okay, now things are dry, and full disclosure, I did a little bit of touch up with the Morghast Bone just to get the central areas a little bit more filled in. Now we are going to do another layer with Ushabti Bone, and same thing as before, but we don't want to cover quite everything that we had with the Morghast. We just want to cover most of it and leave kind of this middle part here the same. So I'm trying to work from the outside in, since the outside is what we want to be a little bit brighter than the inside. And don't worry if it looks like you're not painting super straight lines. That's okay, because if you look at paper and parchment, you know, it's got fibers, and this is supposed to be a scroll, kind of a rough-hewn scroll that has rips and tears in it. So it wouldn't be super straight to begin with. Okay, that side's a little bit messy. I might go and clean it up a little later. But for now, we are pretty much good. I'm going to add just a little bit of thinned down Ushabti in the center here. Just a little bit. Just so we don't have too stark a contrast between the outer edge and the inner edge. Or the inner scroll work. Okay, and second to last step, we just want to use our Wraith Bone to add in extreme highlights. So looking at it this way, pretty much everything you would see along here and up there, that's what we want to highlight. We just want the edge here. Don't need a whole lot. And the unit type symbol here is raised. I got that 3D printed, so we don't need to do a highlight under that because that naturally casts a little bit of a shadow. Okay, and maybe just a little bit down here. And just get the top here just a little bit. Little dollop, that's all we need. And remember, if you go too heavy one way or the other, it's easy to come back and fix. And remember, nothing's permanent in paint unless you want it to be. Okay, and the last step is to do the lettering. And if you have a really steady hand with a brush, well, you have a steadier hand than I do. But I am going to cheat a little bit and use a Micron 003 sepia pen to do this. So I looked through a list of names. Kai, just K-A-I, seemed appropriate, and then it's simple, relatively easy. Don't want your letters to go all the way to the edge because print almost never goes all the way to the edge no matter what you're looking at. We'll do the outer edge of the K braced, and the upper edge like that. Okay, and we've got it. Looks like I need a little practice still, because the K is closer to that side than the I is to that side. But again, nothing is permanent, real easy to just go back over and do it again. But that is how we do scroll work. So thank you so much for joining me. Hope you have a great day wherever and whenever you are. Please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed the video, and consider supporting the channel on Patreon.